Hello everybody, and welcome back to Pokemon White. So in the last part we went through Route 14, and now we're about to enter the area that we can only get access to once you have both Surf and Full Waterfall. Now it's not really that big of an area. Welcome to the Abundant Shrine. Now, the reason why it's called that is because of something that some NPCs that we're going to be talking to are going to be talking about soon, later on anyway. But anyways, now as you saw, yeah, immediately as soon as we enter, we get access to the TM that is definitely very helpful if my M-board didn't already have it. That, of course, being the TM Flamethrower. So, yeah, now we can have Flamethrower be taught to any of our Pokemon that can actually learn that move. So, yeah, just like with freaking Earthquake and Psychic, yeah, we had to wait until post-game in order for us to be able to gain access to those moves, from the TMs. But anyways, everyone, now as the Pokemon that we can find here in the Abundant Shrine. Now, once again, we have a big variety of new Pokemon that we can find here. Now, while you are surfing, you can not only find wild Slowpokes, but you can also find wild Slowbros and also wild Slowkings as well. So yeah, you can essentially find the entirety of the Slowpoke line here. Now, as for the Pokemon that we can find in the grass, now there are some Pokemon that are version exclusives. First off, now we still have Cottonies and Petalos here. But then, another two Pokemon that are only version exclusives are once again Misdreavus and Murkrow. Now we can only find Misdreavus during Pokemon. Since we are playing Pokemon White, we have ourselves a chance to encounter Misdreavus. But for those of you who are playing Pokemon Black, you will be able to find Murkrows here. And then as for the other Pokemon, we can find not only them. And then as for the other Pokemon, we can find wild Vulpix, Noctowl, Stantler, Chimecho, and Bronzongs. And also from the Rustling Grass, you can not only find wild Ninetales, but also wild Mismagius, and also wild Honchkrows. So yeah, if you want to skip of trying to get their evolution stones constantly, yeah, then you can simply just find then you can simply just find the actual wild ones here. So yeah. But anyways, yeah, a self-destructing Pineco. Yeah, that was something that I probably would have expected to happen if I did not catch that previous one. Yeah, that's what I probably would have expected to happen with the wild Pineco that I found. Yeah. And then, as for the Pokemon we find fishing, are essentially identical to Routes 14 and Route 11. Yeah. Okay, now, as we heard from that guy who was talking, that we actually talked to before this battle, he was talking about the great Landorus, who is the third of the nature trio. That being that of course being the third being of nature. Alongside Tornadus and Thunderous. Now, here's the thing. Now, normally when we find legendary Pokemon, I would show off a battle with them. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen here. Because Well, because if you want to get access to Landorus, you not only need to have both, not only do you need to have Thunderous, but also a Tornadus with you. Yeah, then go to the shrine that we're gonna see later on, and then that's when Landorus will show himself. But anyways, now you may be thinking, now for those of you who have seen my Soul Silver playthrough, saw that I did show off the battle with Rayquaza, despite that I did not have a Kyogre with me. Well, yeah, considering that I did not have a Kyogre with me at that time. Yeah, unfortunately, I could not find any codes that for me to be able to show it off, even without the Thunderous, without having both Thunderous and a Tornadus in the same game. So yeah, so unfortunately, I will not be showing that battle off for this playthrough. But anyways, everyone, now we've seen at least three new Pokemon so far throughout our adventures in the Abundant Shrine. Now, from that battle with that kid, we had Canopy and Spinarak, and we also have our first appearance of Bronzong. Now, as you saw, now all three of them have a brand new sprites. But Bronzong, on the other hand, he definitely looks more like his Diamond and Pearl sprite. It's just that his arms are more extended. Like, it's not like Bronzong. Yeah, it's not like his Diamond and Pearl sprite where his arms were essentially were bended like. Whereas in for this gen, yeah, Bronzong's arms definitely looks like they've been more extended like. Yeah. But anyways, as you saw, we got Bronzong, the Bronze Spell Pokemon. Yeah, Bronzong is definitely like an actual Bronze Spell. But anyways, now I guess I should also say about Route 14 that I actually forgot to mention last time was that is actually probably the only route in the game where, as you saw, the light around that route, they don't exactly fully show the actual light itself. Where there is some actual brightness actually blocking off some of the view of the actual route itself. Yeah, now that is something that you don't get to see that much within the actual routes. Well, actually, I'm thinking Route 15 also has that. Honestly, I don't fully recall. Yeah, but anyways, now as you can see from this battle, we've now got our first encounter with a Horsea, but also a Ponyta. Now Horsea essentially has the same sprite from Diamond and Pearl, while Ponyta, just like its evolution, also gets a brand new sprite. Yeah, whereas now previously, Ponyta looks like it really wants to run. Meanwhile, the Ponyta in Gen 5 more so just wants to stand still. And not so much really run anywhere. Okay. Excuse me. And that is our second Bronzong already. Hopefully Bronzong's not the only Pokemon I encounter here, because I really do want to get those over. I really do want to encounter the others. Excuse me again, jeez. Sorry about that. That's just, yeah. Apparently I just have myself a big lunch, I guess. Oh, Wrestling Grass. Okay. Let's see which one I'm gonna get. Oh, Ninetales! So high! Hello, Wild Ninetales. How's it going, buddy? But anyways, like I said, hopefully my next encounter with Bronzong, since I do want to hopefully give myself a chance to get the others. And next one, Staler. Alright, I will gladly accept that. Okay, Next, we're just gonna try our best to get the Stantler. I guess I should go over its enemy appearances of Stantler. Now, despite not being the more popular Pokemon in the series, yeah, Stantler still doesn't get that much appearances. But however, Stantler does make at least some like appearances in not only journeys, but also Horizons as well. Where in Journeys, it was because of Go getting his Stantler in a much more in a very early episode of the series, meaning that yeah, we were able to see at least a few background appearances of his Stantler. Yeah, and then as for Stantler. Then as for Horizons, Stantler only really makes like background, only like a background appearance here and there. And it was more so around the end of the second season of that series. Yeah. But anyways, Stantler, the bighorn Pokemon. Stantler has 2 horns, not 1. I don't know why they still call Stantler a bighorn when, as you can clearly see, Stantler has 2 horns. Not 1! Jeez. Okay, let's see if we can find the others. Nope, Bronzong again. Yeah, so unfortunately, that's it. Yeah, so unfortunately, Bronzong and Stantler are really the only ones I managed to find, so no Vulpix, no Chimigo, and not even a Misdreavus. Which, I'm pretty sure, this is probably going to be the only time that I would be able to encounter an actual Misdreavus in this whole entire series, in this whole entire game. So yeah, that is honestly unfortunate. Oh yeah, and over here is where we get the Razor Fang, and to now for those of you who want your Gligards to evolve into Gliscor, now we can. Oh yeah, this girl says that she's tired with battling with the same people. Well, that's probably because there barely isn't anybody here. Yeah, because there's barely anybody here. Yeah, Maki. Oh, and you have a Burmy, huh? Alright, now, and this is probably gonna be the only Burmy that we're gonna see. Yeah, unlike Wormadam, where we actually got to see all 3 forms of Wormadam. But considering that, despite the form, Burmy's type does not change. So yeah, this is probably why we're not gonna see. So that's why probably we're not gonna see much of in terms of Burmy, not much. But anyways, everyone. Now as for Burmy's sprite. It's essentially almost identical to its Jump Force sprite, really. Well, actually, I'm thinking more so of its Platinum sprite than its Diamond and Pearl one. Although, its Diamond and Pearl and Platinum sprite look almost entirely identical to each other. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case, maybe. But anyways, Tangela again. Now, if we did not encounter Tangela before, then this of course would have been our first one. But anyways, now we're just gonna be going for this place still. Now, pretty sure I didn't. Now, yeah, I'm pretty sure I talked about Tangela before. You know, as I was going for the whole catching spree in the giant chasm. So I don't think I'll be mentioning him again for the rest of the playthrough. But anyways, now we have you. This is our playground. Oh, I bet it is. Her great Landorus. Watch out for us. Well, that is if he'll be watching you from anywhere. Lester. Oh hey, Yam. Yeah, apparently you have yourself a Yanma. Now, as you can see, Yanma essentially has the same sprite from Heart Gold and Soul Silver. But Yanma really likes to move. Yeah, Yanma really likes to move. Really likes to move around a lot. Yeah. But anyways, now he also has a Ledyba. Now, Ledyba here essentially has the same sprite from Heart Gold and Soul Silver as well. Yeah, essentially just sits there and not actually flying, unlike its evolution. And he also has a Ninjask. Now, I believe it's the same new sprite, but then again, I could be wrong. Cause honestly, but the way you look at it, even in Gen 3, I feel like Ninjask has the same facial expression, where he doesn't really show much face, where his face is essentially the same. It's more so of its other body parts that are very different. Yeah. So honestly, I can't really tell if Ninjask has a brand new sprite, an actual brand new sprite for this game or not, for this generation or not. But anyways, now we have some kids here again. If you raid Grand Landorus' little shrine, it'll cause a bad storm. That's not true. The Pokemon that brings bad thunderstorms is a different Pokemon. What do they find it about? No, silly. You've got it all wrong. Oh, does he? Oh, apparently they want to surround me now. This is a shrine for Great Landorus. It punished a Pokemon that did a bad thing. Hey, if you wreck the shrine, it can't punish that stormy Pokemon if it comes back. But that doesn't make any sense. If a Pokemon does a bad thing, a Great Landorus will come to help us. However, it has a shrine or not. You're the silly one. Yeah, kids are just being kids. Always arguing about the silliest of things. No, you're silly! Hey, wait! Yep, there they go. This little shrine is dedicated to a Pokemon called Landorus. They say that when Tornadus and Thunderous were whipping up storms that damaged houses and fields all over the Unova region, Landorus made them stop. Did it now? That's a story. That's a story from way long ago, when my grandpa was a little boy. So if Tornadus and Landorus come here again, Great Landorus may come back. Yeah, as I said, yeah, if you want to be able to get the Landorus, yeah, you're gonna need both Tornadus and Landorus. That's what my grandpa told me. Yeah, only what your grandpa told you. But anyways, now before we go, there is at least one more. Before we go, there is at least one more item that we can get here, and it is right here. And there's indeed the TM for Trick Room. Now, and this right here. Alright, now we are good to go. And also, this is where we're probably gonna this right here is probably gonna be the last time that we're gonna be hearing that same music that we just listened to. That was also utilized for a Lost Lord Forest. Yeah, so yeah, let's just say I'm gonna miss that music. Yeah, now, as I may have said previously, I really do like that one. Yeah. But anyways, and also with that said, that should be just about everything that you need to do when it comes to utilizing Waterfall 4. So that means I no longer constantly have to switch around my boxes again. Yeah, just so I could get access to that HM move. But anyways, everyone, with that said, that should be all I'm going to do for this part. And so to the next part, I'll see you guys next time.